Sorry about that, the video just ended, so we will start right from here. All right, so again, up above, we just left off with the exponents and all their different names. And then down below, we're gonna talk about terms. Again, the number of terms. So we're looking at the exponents and we're counting the number of terms. So for the number of terms, I like to think of bicycles. It helps me with 2 and 3. So if it's 1, we already talked about it, that is a monomial. For 2, I think of a bicycle has 2 wheels. It is a binomial. And then 3 wheels, that's a tricycle, which would be trinomial. So again, you got to look at those starts. Again, mono means 1, bi means 2, tri means 3, and then anything 4 and up, you would just say however many term polynomial. So again, you would say 4th term polynomial, a 5th term polynomial. Again, actually, let's just say nth term. So you just say whatever number and term polynomial. So let's do some examples. So again, you'll use your chart. Again, we're going to classify by degree and the number of terms. All right, so I'll do the first 2 or 3, and then I'd recommend you pause it and then you go through it. All right, so for this first one, first thing I do is look at my degree. Again, I look at my variable, I look at the exponent, and this would be a 1, so degree 1 would be right over here. It's going to be linear. Then I count how many terms are there. There's 1, there's 2, that's going to be 2, so this is going to be a binomial. All right, next one. Again, I look to see, I check my exponents. Again, we got x, x, x. Again, I want the biggest one, so in this case, we're going to look at this 5 over here, so that's the greatest, or that's our degree because it's the greatest exponent. And then 5 would tell me quintic. Again, our degree is when we're looking at the exponent, and that 5 tells us quintic. After that, I count how many terms. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be a trinomial. All right, 15 looks pretty tricky. On this one, because there is no variable, there's no x, there's no exponent, that would be a 0. So again, this is going to represent the constant. So that's a constant, and then it's easy to see that's only 1 term, so that's going to be a monomial. All right, next one is 16. On this one, I look again at my x's. I look for the biggest degree. In this case, it's going to be 3. That's going to tell me cubic. And then I count. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be a 4-term polynomial. All right. After that, what I'd recommend is you pause it and see if you can do the next 2, maybe the final 2 also. Again, you're just going to give an example. Again, you can make up anything for those final 2. So again, pause it. I'm just going to go through here and see what it is. So again, next one is going to be a 2. Again, I look right here. So I get quadratic for my degree. And there's 3, so trinomial. Next one, we have a 4. That's going to be quartic. And there's only 1 term, so monomial. Give an example of a cubic binomial. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. X cubed. Again, that's going to be my highest one. And then after that, binomial means 2 terms. So I can do plus 2x. Again, you could add plus 3. You could add plus 7x squared. Doesn't matter. It's just important that it's 2 and it has to stay degree 3. So it can't be anything higher than x cubed. All right, next one is going to be a linear monomial. So again, linear tells us we need to have an exponent of 1. So x to the first. And then monomial means just 1 term. So again, this would be your most basic. X to the first or just x. Again, you could get fancy. You can make it a 3x. Again, lots of options for that. All right, so again, this is the foundation. Let's go on to the next page. So now that we built up our foundation, here are going to be our examples. All right, example number 1. What you need to know to identify a polynomial, you need to remember, for polynomials, exponents must be whole numbers. Again, write this down, this is important. So, it isn't, we're going to say no square roots of any form, no negative exponents, oops, my spelling is off. No negative exponents, and then you don't want decimals or fractions either. So, no square roots, no negatives, no fractions or decimals, which we don't have no space on that, but just write that down. Let's see, no decimals, no fractions. Okay, so again, for a polynomial, just remember your exponents have to be nice, whole, positive numbers. So let's look at A. So again, we need to determine if it's a polynomial, and then the directions say if it is, we state the degree of the polynomial. So on this one, first thing I notice is we have a root. So in this case, automatically I'm going to say no because of the cube root. This next one, again, we're looking at the variables. So again, this a to the fourth is good, b to the first is good, a to the second, b to the seventh. They're all good. They're all positive. We don't have anything weird going on, so we will say yes. And again, to figure out what the degree is, again, when there's multiple, what you're going to do is add them. So this is 4 plus 1. This is going to be degree 5. This one, we do 2 plus 7. This is going to be 9. So this is going to be a degree of 9. So again, when there's multiple variables, what you need to do is add them. Okay, on this one, right away, and it's right by what we said. This one, no negatives. I have negatives right there 2 times. We're going to say no negative exponent. All right, that's example 1. Next one. For these ones, we're practicing just naming the degree. Again, we're going to look at our exponents. 7, 5, and again, we got a fraction, but that's okay because remember, this is not an exponent, so we can still deal with fractions. All right, in this case, this would be degree, again, we're looking at the biggest one, so degree 7. Okay, again, we know what to do when there's multiple of them. Remember, we're going to add them. So this one right here, I can see which one's bigger. I'll say this is degree 9. On here, again, I'm looking at my exponent. In this case, this is pretty straightforward. There's only one. It's going to be 10. And then the final one, 25. Notice there's no exponent. This one is degree 0. This one would be a constant. All right, let's go on to example 2 now. Now this part should go fast. Examples 2 and 3 should go by fast because essentially all we're doing is combining like terms. So with these guys, we're just combining like terms. Again, with the plus sign, you can just go straight into seeing which ones go together. So again, I like to just do different underlines, single underline for my first one, 6x plus 1x cubed. I'm going to get 7x cubed. 7x squared, negative 4x squared, that's going to be positive 3x squared. Okay, triple underline, my linear term, again, just x, negative 2, negative 8, that's going to give me negative 10x. And then, going to do a squiggly line for the last one, positive 4, positive 1, we add those, I get a positive 6. So again, the way I recommend, start out with your highest exponent, start out with the x cubes, and then go in descending order. That way, you put it in standard form as you answer. Again, try to pause this video if you're watching it on your own. Try to practice it. So again, what I'm going to do is just go right through with it. I'll do the same thing. X cubes, it's like a game of matching. Combine your like terms. 6x cubed. Positive 9, negative 7, that's going to give me positive 2x squared. 6 and 5, that's going to give me 11x. And then last but not least is just a negative 3, so we're just going to drop it down. All right, now let's look at subtraction on this one. It's going to be almost the same thing. The only difference is subtraction, you do have to be careful. We have to remember that's a -1. Anytime there's a minus sign, you need to distribute it. Again, we need to change the sign for everything, and then we'll be good to go. So first I'm going to distribute it. I'm going to be left with -5x minus 9x cubed plus 3x minus 4. Again, be careful. Now, once you're done with that, you no longer need to deal with this top one. And now I'm just going to drop down this other one. Actually, we don't even need to drop it down. Now we're just going to go into combining like terms. So I'm going to look at the highest degree. In this case, it's going to be this 5x cubed. Notice there is no other x to the power of 5. Sorry, not x cubed. Okay, next I'm going to look for a 4, see if there's a 4. The answer is no, so I'm just going to copy it down. Okay, cubed. Looks like there is no other cubed, and actually I did mess up. There was a 4. Oops. Again, make sure to take your time. Even I can make mistakes. So again, actually, what we do have is I need to erase this, and I need to fix this. So 11 minus 5. Hopefully you're able to pick up on my mistake. 11 minus 5, that's going to give us 6x to the 4th. Okay, now we're rolling. Okay, still there's not another x cubed. Okay, now I'm on to 4. Oops. That's going to be my linear term. There is no squared term, so then I'm going to go 7 plus 3. I'm going to get 10x. And then -8, -4, that's going to give me -12. All right, here's this one. Again, same as before, just make sure you distribute that negative. So again, pause the video and attempt the next one. Again, I'm going to just go through with it. Again, make sure to distribute. Make sure to take your time. Don't miss any signs like I almost did on that other one. Again, all my signs should flip. I'm just going to double check. Don't want to mess up my exponents. And then I'm done with this. I've got my new and improved one down below. All right, and then same thing. I look for my highest degree, my highest exponent. That's going to be that -5x cubed. There are no other ones. 8x, -2x. I'm going to get positive 6x squared. -3. Positive 6. That's going to give me a positive 3x. Again, I combine those two. Positive 1. Positive 9, that's going to give me positive 10. All right, now let's move on to the next one. Again, this one is going to be doing distribution. Again, we've covered this some. We've been working with it. Nothing new. We're just going to multiply through the parentheses. And again, make sure, draw the arrows, just make sure. Only mistakes I really see with distribution is if you miss one. And again, that's why I draw those arrows, to make sure I don't. So again, this is going to be the product property. We're going to do 2 times 4, which is going to give us 8. And then remember, we're going to add our exponents. So x to the first plus x to the third, that's going to give me x to the 4th. Just like that. Multiply my coefficients, I get 10. Again, I'm right here. Multiplying those guys, and then I add, I get x cubed. All right, on to the next one. This is going to be -1 times 2, so -2, and then x to the first plus x to the first, that's going to be x squared. All right, and then the final one, we're going to do 2x times that -7, I get -14, and then it's just going to remain x to the first or just x. All right, so again, multiply your coefficients, and then you just add your variables. Again, this one looks complicated. See if you can do it. Again, when you add, make sure you only add the x's with the x's and the y's with the y's. Again, I'm just going to proceed and try to do it. So again, we're going to start out with this one, and we're going to multiply it to each one of these. So let's start out with the first one. So -7 times 5, that's going to be -35. Add my x's, so I get x to the 7th. Add my y's exponents, so that's going to be y to the 7th. All right, there we go. On to the next one. Whoops. Negative 7 times negative 2, that's going to be positive 14. X to the 5th, y to the 4th. Okay, on to the next one. I'm going to get negative 42, x to the 3rd, y to the 6th. And then we get positive 63, x to the 2nd, because there's no other x's, and then y to the 4th. Okay, and that's what you should get on this one. All right, almost there. So let's look at multiplying the binomials. Okay, this is going to be when we FOIL. So I'm going to start out with this first one. This is going to be front, then we're going to do outside. So start out with front. That's going to give me 2x times x. That's going to be 2x squared. Outside is then going to be, minus 8x. And then I move on to the next one. 9 times x, that's going to give me positive 9x. That's inside. And then last is going to be 9 times that minus 4. That's going to be negative 36. All right. Last step now is just to simplify, combine like terms. Again, usually it should be these middle terms. I should get negative 8x, positive 9x. That's going to give me positive 1x. Minus 36. And then we get 2x squared. All right, there's that one. Try to do this one. See how you can do. Again, we multiply those front ones, so 6x squared. Next one's going to give me minus 8x. Inside, I get negative 9x. Last, I get positive 12. Combine my like terms, that's going to be negative 17x plus 12 and 6x squared. All right. Let's go on to the next one now. Again, just double checking my work. All right, looks like we are all good. All right, going on to this one. So for this one, there's multiple ways you can go about it. What you just need to do is just choose 2 of them and multiply them. Again, doesn't matter which 2 you go about it. I'm just going to start with the last 2. So again, I'm going to start out with that a right there. And then I should end up getting 4a squared. And again, I'm going to keep it in parentheses because we're going to still have to worry about this guy. So for right now, we're going to ignore it. 4a squared plus 1a minus 28a minus 7. Okay, and then I'm just going to drop this guy down. Okay, and again, I'm going to just combine my like terms. So over here, I'm going to look right here. Those are my like terms, so I'm going to copy up 4a squared. I add my a terms, so my linear terms. That's going to be minus 27a minus 7. All right, that's what we get. Again, we multiplied that right side, those 2 binomials on the right. Now we're going to distribute the blue one. All right. We'll go with pink. So again, this time, I'm going to have to multiply that 3a 3 times. So again, I'm going to start out with those 2, then I'll do these 2, and then I'll do those 2. So right now we're just focused on the yellow. So 3a times 4a squared, that's going to give me 12a cubed. Then we're going to move on to the next one. That's going to be 3a times that negative 27a. That's going to give me minus 81a squared. And then we're going to multiply that last one, that 3a times that negative 7. That's going to be negative 35. All right, that is that one in the pink. Now we're going to have to do it all over again. This time, though, we're going to use another color. We're going to do it with the 5. So again, I need to distribute it 3 times. Again, start with the 5, then that 4. Oh, I accidentally erased that. That 4a squared. That was weird. All right. So let's start right here. And then I should get, for my first one, is going to be positive 20a squared. Then I'm going to get, Oh, that's weird. It's just erasing it. Okay, now I'll multiply those guys. I'm going to get minus 135a. And then for my last one, I'm going to get negative 35. Okay, now you're on the final stretch, the home stretch right here. All you gotta do is just combine your like terms. We start out with 12a cubed. There's no other one to combine it with. We see a squareds are able to combine, so then we end up getting a minus 61a squared. Next is going to be our linear term. There's only one, so minus 1. Oops, actually, I did forget an a there. So these guys combine. And let me see. Did I do this correctly? Nope, I jumped the gun. My apologies for that. That's the only bad thing about doing a video. I can't go back and fix it or else I'll lose everything. So, my mistake, if maybe you noticed it, would have been the final one, this 3a and that negative 7. That's going to be a negative 21a. Alright, and then you should get minus 156a. My apologies for that. Okay, and then the last one's going to be minus 35. Alright, so there is that one. So again, make sure you are nice and organized. Okay, pause the video, try to do this next one. Again, I'll make sure not to make a mistake this time. Okay, so on this one, just to save us some time, when you FOIL and when you multiply, again, I'm just going to go straight into it and just write it down. Going to try to quicken this up. 5r squared, whoops, I'll use the different color. Okay, so again, once you multiply and you combine your like terms, you should get this. So again, oops, not a plus 4, that's going to be a minus 4. So you should get this, and again, all you're going to do from there is just drop down that negative 2r minus 3. Alright, after that, then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to distribute the 2r, then you're going to distribute the negative 3, and what you should end up getting for the first one, again, in the pink, you should get negative 10r cubed minus 38r squared plus 8r. Okay. Then for our next color, we'll do green. After that, we'll multiply that negative 3. And then for this one, you should get negative 15r squared minus 57r plus 12. And then from there, we're just going to combine our like terms. And then you should get negative 10r cubed minus 53r squared minus 49r plus 12. Alright, so that's what you should get for these ones. Now, final one, we'll just do this story problem, and then you'll do the exit ticket on your own. Alright, for the final one, what we have is this cake. It's got 3 tiers. So what we're going to need to do is to find the volume, which, if you didn't know, that's going to be length times width times height. We multiply all 3 dimensions. Alright, so the big thing is on this one, each tier will be half the volume of the previous. Now, this is going to be tier 1. Oh, wait, they're already labeled. Didn't even see that. So that bottom one is going to be tier 1, which we're going to find it first. So again, like I said, what we're going to do is we are going to multiply all 3 parts of this cake. So again, to find the dimensions of this one, we're going to multiply x times 4x minus 3 times 2x plus 1. So let's do that. So again, this is how you find the volume. 4x minus 3, 2x plus 1. We multiply all of those. Length times width times height. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to multiply. I'm going to focus on these terms. So 4x times 2x, that's going to give me that 8x squared plus 4x. I look at my next one. I'll do it in a darker blue, almost black. Negative 3 times 2x, that's going to give me negative 6x. Negative 3 times 1, that's going to be minus 3. And then from there, we're just going to combine our like terms, which, again, it's going to be these middle ones. I'm going to get 8x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay. And we still have that x down below. So we drop down that x. The final thing I'm going to do now is distribute it. And then this is going to give us our first answer. So for our very first one, I'm going to get tier 1 is going to be 8x cubed minus 2x squared minus 3x. Again, that's what we get after we do this final part. So again, all we did was multiply the last two binomials, and then we got our answer and we distributed that x. All right, after that, we need to figure out what tier 2 and tier 3 are, which, remember, all we had to do from there is just divide it by half, or multiply it by half. So again, from here, I'm just going to divide by 2. Again, half of 8, that one should be easy. This one's going to be 4x cubed. Negative 2, I'm going to divide that by 2. That's going to give me minus 1x squared. Now, 3, we don't want a decimal. We're just going to leave it as a fraction, or we could make it a decimal. In this case, 1.5x. If you went with a fraction, it would be 3/2. All right, next we're going to divide by 2 one more time. Again, this is tier 3. This is going to be the very top tier. Again, it's going to be half of tier 2, so then I'm going to get 2x cubed. And then my next one, I'm going to get negative 0.5x squared. Again, if you're using a fraction, it's going to be 1/2. And then next one, we divide by 2 one more time. That's going to be 0.75x. All right, what we have to do now is we found the volume for each layer. In order to find the total volume, all we need to do now to finish this is to add these guys all up, combine our like terms. All right, so I'm going to add all these guys up. Again, 8 plus 4 plus 2, this one should be the easiest. That's going to be 14x cubed. All right, my next one, 2 plus 1 plus, or a negative 2, negative 1 plus a negative 0.5. That's going to give me minus 3.5x squared. And then my last one, I'm going to add them all up. I'm going to get negative 5.25x. And this is your answer for this final story problem. All right, try to do the exit ticket, see how you did, and then that is going to be it for me.